Hi, everyone. Welcome to Living Hypnotically, where we explore the application and benefit of hypnosis with professional hypnotists. I'm your host, Erika Flint, professional hypnotherapy instructor and board certified hypnotist. And today we have Cyndal Wallace, professional hypnotist and trainer with us. She just reminded me that she graduated from our training program exactly 5 years ago. So it's been 5 years, Cyndal. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. And again, I love that I graduated 5 years ago to the date. It feels like it's a full circle thing. And I am just really excited to chat with you and to share how living hypnotically can really change our lives from the inside out.
So let's start with you. Why did you decide to be a hypnotist, or what got you to the place where you realized, hey, I want to do hypnosis? How did you start out and what brought you to that place?
Yeah. So ever since I was in middle school, I wanted to become an art therapist for kids. So I
Oh.
was a kid myself wanting to help kids, and I was always the therapist friend. And
Oh.
I held on to that dream for my almost my entire life. And then when I was in my late 20s, I was on YouTube and I saw this video chatting with a hypnotist. And I was like, never thought about hypnosis before. I clicked on it. And then everything that he was talking about with like mindset, with neuroplasticity, with changing your behaviors, with the conscious, subconscious, like, this is it. Like, it just lit something up within me, like this excitement I haven't felt in a very long time. And so then I did all of the research, and then I found one of the best hypnosis schools in the Pacific Northwest, you.
Oh, thank
And
you.
like, and then we had our interview, and then before I know it, I was off to class, got certified, and then I saw my first client within my first week after graduation.
Oh, bravo. So
So
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Something that we absolutely want to go from classroom to client and feel confident doing that, right? So, how did you make that happen? What was that like for you?
yeah, at first I just talked about it. I talked about the assignment and I it was putting myself out there, making the post, and then I had some mutual friends and they saw and then they're like, "Hey, like I want to go ahead and give this thing a try." So it's like a friend of a friend. And then something else too that I really started to do is I was doing like Google Ads. So I was trying these different things. But I had probably my first 4 or 5 clients within 2 months, like really quickly, then referrals. You
Yeah.
know, then the people are getting really good results. They're making the changes. Other people notice, be like, what are you doing? How have you changed? You look different. You feel different. Maybe you've lost some weight. And then like,
Mhm.
well, I've been going to a hypnotist. So like,
Yeah.
can I know who that is? Because I want what you got. So referrals are also like a great way. That was a really big jump start for our business in the beginning.
Yeah. Referrals are really important because the incoming clients already believe that they can get the results. And a lot of our clients are coming in, they want the results, but sometimes they're coming out of desperation, right? Oh, Erica, I hope you can help me. I've tried everything else. That's a little different than when somebody comes in, oh, you helped Sally, my friend Sally, lose 50 pounds. I want the same thing. Really believing it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly, I love that.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Now, you're an author, right? Emotional eating, man.
Mhm.
And isn't that something that a lot of us are doing,
Yeah, I
right?
really think that we all emotionally eat to a point, and if you think about it, like, we've been programmed this way since we've been kids, using food as a reward, like, "Oh, you got an A on your spelling bee or whatever.
Yep.
Let's go get some ice cream," or "You fell and you skinned your knee. Let's go get a lollipop," or "You
Yep.
have a broken heart, chocolate ice cream." That always
Exactly.
that always
And it works too. That's the other thing. And not only were we trained as kids to eat in these ways, but it actually works, meaning we're actually feeling better while we're eating the ice cream. It actually functions as oh, I'm feeling better now
Yep.
temporarily. And then we got to trade that in as we get older. So, what are you finding with your clients that they are finding when working with you and getting rid of emotional eating? What are some of the results there?
Oh my goodness. So typically I work with my weight loss clients for about 6 months minimum.
Yep.
And on average, they lose anywhere from like 30 to 45 pounds within that 6 months. And they do it with no diets,
Yep.
no any calorie counting, no weird teas or anything like that. It's all just this really mindful, heartful approach that really feels empowering.
Yeah.
It's like that people have, "What's wrong with me? Like, why can't I stick with it? I'm so smart. Why can't I make this
Yeah.
happen?"
They know what to do, but in the moment they never follow through. So they're making and breaking small promises to themselves all day long. It feels guilty. They don't feel good about themselves. And that's one of the things in my first book. I have them make and keep small promises, the smallest of promises, right? A lot of our clients, it feels like they need permission to just do the easiest and simplest of things, right? And give them permission to, nope, just like 1 minute of activity, right? 30 seconds out the door, 30 seconds back. Some people might think that's too low of a goal. But in my practice, my clients come back after a week of that, right? And they have been active every single day for a week. Now they're starting to feel better about themselves.
You're keeping that promise to yourself and you're showing
Yep.
yourself to do this, but then
Mm-hmm.
you're also building that habit. And so then it's like habit stacking, right? Where you're
Yep.
starting off with one habit, you're making that bigger and growing from that to something that's sustainable and long lasting. And that's a huge thing that a lot of my weight loss clients say, that it still takes work, but this is much easier than anything else that they've done, and it is sustainable.
Right.
But
I tell
that
my clients it's 75% easier with hypnosis. Why
mm,
not? I'm a hypnotist. We give good hypnotic suggestions. It's at least 75% easier with hypnosis. Now, the reason I say that is because I want them to know that there's effort. At times we get the hypnosis is magic type of client, right? And this type of client is they're so like they so believe in hypnosis that they're just going to go, they'll say, Eric, I'm just going to go sit in the chair and you're going to do your magic, right? And we need our clients to put some effort into their work with us.
yeah, 100%, and that helps them become independent, and so by the time that they graduate, they know, like, exactly what to do, and they know that they can actually do it because they have done it.
And that brings me to a question I get quite a bit, which is people asking about how to run your practice. And there are some programs that kind of believe in these single sessions of hypnosis. And I really do not. And I think it's really important as a trainer and as a hypnotist to just talk about this for the benefit of our clients and benefit of anybody wanting to become a hypnotist. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me to do a single session of hypnosis with somebody when they've been struggling for a long time. And it seems to be these are kind of marketing tools, right, to get somebody in the door. What do you think about single sessions?
Yeah, it's like someone who's been smoking for 20, 30 years, and do you really think that's gonna be, like, long lasting, just one session? It's almost like putting a Band-Aid on it, and that's the one thing that I really appreciate about what we do is that we also give them tools. So we're
Right.
not doing just the hypnosis, but we also need time to integrate all of the tools, such as emotional wisdom, the self-hypnosis, the alpha sequence, and
Right.
these different things, and so again, it helps them when life happens, that they're gonna be able to handle it without going to the food, without going to cigarettes,
Yeah, they don't
alcohol.
get knocked. Yeah, exactly.
So it's just like putting
Exactly.
a Band-Aid on it.
We can get a mind blow. We can have huge insight in a single session, but to really help our clients transform and to truly help them shift and change, it's important to continue working with them. On average, I'm seeing clients 5 or 6 sessions. If it's weight loss, it's more, but we do get to see them shift and change and transform. We get to help them learn to change and change. I was having this conversation just the other day. It's like everybody wants things to be different, but they don't want to have to change anything. 'Cause I want different results, but I don't want to change anything. So we get to help make transformation easy and
Yeah,
help it make it so it's something that they want to do, right?
100%, 100%. Meaning to really
Awesome.
do more than one session is doing our clients a service to really help get them the results that they want, so
Yeah.
it's sticks, and again, so then it's permanent and long
I
lasting.
want to ask you about your evolution in hypnosis because it's been 5 years, right? Yeah. So can you, like you personally, can you talk a little bit about your kind of evolution as a hypnotist?
Yeah, I remember in training, you asked us this question, if we could use hypnosis to work on ourselves, what would be that thing that we would want to work on?
Mhm.
And my answer, I circled it in this bright red marker, confidence. Confidence, because I have experienced anxiety since I've been
Mhm.
13. I've battled with depression and then all of these other different things and really feelings of inadequacy. And so when I very first started, it's who am I to help people when I still have all these issues myself? But what hypnosis did though is that it gave me tools to work on myself. Then it helped give me the confidence that I need to be
Yeah.
able to really serve my clients and be there fully and present with them. And so now 5 years later, I'm the most confident that I've been in my entire life, that I have become the person I wanted to become, and I'm still becoming the person I want to become too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm always shifting and always changing. And I would say that confidence is probably one of the biggest things, and also better sleep as well too, because the self-hypnosis
Yeah.
is really nice for sleep. So I would say that's the biggest thing. More
That's
extroverted,
beautiful.
more confident, more self-assurance.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I love how you talk about the tools because I think it's really common for people to know what they want. And we can all think about something like sports, or let's say you wanted to play pickleball, or let's say you wanted to learn the ukulele or something like that. You might know that you would go buy a ukulele or pickleball and you might take some lessons. And there's a very procedural way to gain skill. But what's often overlooking in humanity, and I think we all are realizing this with changes in the world since the pandemic and things just continuing to get more and more chaotic, is that the ability to calm down the nervous system, how very important that skill is. But yet people don't really know how to do it, right? It's, oh, wow, I wish I could do that. I wish I could meditate. I wish. And so it's like they want to, but they don't know how. So, us as hypnotists, we get such a cool role because we, like you said, are giving them tools so that daily they're gaining skill. Right now, this skill does build our confidence because we're able to verbalize what we want to do and then follow through on it because we're not getting knee jerk reactions. We're not getting freak outs. We're not having a bad day and something gets us off track. We are able to stay on track. And so when we're building that level of confidence, now we're thinking more clearly and able to follow through on the other things that we actually want to do. So that tool part of hypnosis, I think, is critical. And it doesn't just come in the form of self-hypnosis, which is very important, right? Some of my favorite tools, I want to hear from you what you think are super valuable for your clients, but anti-anxiety, right?
So there is one that I learned from a fellow hypnotist. She's also a psychiatrist as well
Hmm.
too. So just before I share the technique, I do also want to share that one big thing that I teach is emotional wisdom work to all of my clients because we are doing emotional work, right?
Yep.
And so this technique that I'm going to share does go in conjunction with emotional wisdom work because we need to be able to do a reality check with our feelings, with our thoughts. Do I need to take action or is this erroneous?
Okay.
So with this technique that I like to teach, it helps move us into the parasympathetic nervous
Hmm.
system, which is relaxation, where we want to be. So what we do is we take a nice big heart breath, or breathe in from our heart, and we start tapping on our heart space, and then we exhale, then we say relax, let it go. It's just a thought, it's just a feeling. Relax, let it go. It's just a thought. It's just a feeling. Then we do the breathing a couple of times. We're getting the oxygen to our brain, which is soothing our nervous system. We're tapping on our heart space, which is helping with the vagal nerve, and then like
Yeah.
expanding our heart. And then just
Nice.
doing that a couple of times, we just really settle in. I also really like this technique too because we're also acknowledging that it's a thought, it's a feeling, but it's
Yep.
okay to let it go, especially
You're
after.
validating, right? Yeah. That's
That's what
beautiful.
part of us just wants to be validated.
Yep.
You know, even if it's not really rooted in reality, we can still validate it. Thank you for sharing. And we
Mm-hmm.
do the reality check and we give ourselves the evidence to know what direction is going to be best for us.
Exactly. And what I
So,
love about it is that it gives people the pause, right? It gives them something to do where they can just pause. And we know that a lot of times that if we didn't take action, if we didn't have that knee-jerk reaction, if we didn't say what we wished could be taken back, things could be a lot better. So a lot of techniques I find are pausing techniques, right? They are giving us the ability to pause
Yeah,
without having a freak out,
yeah,
right?
100%.
Right.
Another one of the techniques that I really love, that a lot of my clients really love, is one I learned from you, is the hypnotic two breath technique.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I
that
love that
also
one.
just helps them take a pause, relax, and then they
Yeah.
can really do it like
Mhm.
in a meeting, they can do it at work, they can do it when they're struggling with their kids, put their shoes on,
Exactly.
they can do it anywhere, any place. So the breathing, I'm a huge advocate for breathing.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm 105 stars I give breathing. Yeah, one of my favorite things to do. So let's talk about the two breath hypnosis technique just real quick. So a couple of reasons why I really like this technique. It's short, it's easy, and there's colors involved. There's a lot of concepts and ideas and beautiful work being done around color therapy. And so the idea here, first of all, is focus. I'm going to ask you to think of a color that for you represents peace, tranquility. It's like whatever you actually want right now, but normally it's peace and tranquility, right? And then choose a second color that represents everything you no longer want. Let's just say the stress, or I like to call it chaos, misunderstanding, chaos, things that are not understood yet, that type of thing. And so all you're going to do is take in a deep breath of the color and imagine the color of everything you want. And you just imagine that it permeates your body, every muscle, nerve, and cell. And then as you exhale, you imagine that color that you don't want, everything leaving. And so part of the reason why I think this works so well is because of the color. And yes, you can close your eyes when you do it. You're bringing more of your mind into the moment. And so the more you're able to actually focus on the technique of imagining breathing in this color, or for yours, right, the tapping and feeling the tapping and then the validation of the words that are being spoken, there's a lot of focus and attention that are now being taken into that experience, into that moment. And that is giving us the ability to pause, to notice, to love ourselves, for maybe different parts of us to come in and help soothe or calm us. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's so empowering too. And again, what's really cool about the hypnotic two breath exercise is that people can change their state in less than 2 minutes.
Yep.
Typically, it's about 2 to 4 breaths that people take, and they can go from like a 7 out of 10, 10 being really emotionally charged, down
Yep.
to a 1 or 2 within just a few minutes. And it's really great for kids, for
Yep.
teens, young adults, and grown like everyone.
Right.
It is such a powerful technique, and it that there alone has really helped people really change their lives because it helps give them
Awesome.
that pause that they need. And
Yeah,
then
and it
they,
gives them control back. I
yeah,
say it gives you your handle back, right? Sometimes we feel like we have no handle whatsoever. We're just spinning out of control. Everything is happening to us. But the
yeah,
truth is, anytime you feel that way, do one of these techniques. Bring yourself back to the present moment with the tapping or the two breath hypnosis technique, the unwind technique. Further along, you might do a full hypnotic induction or something perhaps longer, like the alpha sequence or something like that. But then you start to feel like you have a little bit more control.
yeah. What we really need too is like having more control back, the feeling that we are back into the driver's seat helps give us clarity, helps get rid of the decision fatigue, and
Yeah.
then we can really make a choice and feel good about that choice.
Can you share a client win with us?
Yes. Okay. So this actually goes back to the beginning of COVID, so about like middle of COVID in the year 2020. I was working with this weight loss client. She had about 100 pounds that she wanted to lose. And so during our 6 months of working together, she lost about 40 pounds or so.
Mhm.
And then a couple of months ago, it was probably like late last year, I got an email from her saying that she's lost 100 pounds. So she lost 40 pounds with us working together. When she graduated, she knew that she had everything within her that she needed to be successful. She lost 60 pounds on her own, so 100 pounds total, and she's been able to keep it off since then.
Congratulations to you and your client. That is amazing. That's life-changing. That's life-changing.
Really, it is. She was able to really get the life that she deserved and that she wanted, where she was able to play with her kids and she was able to, like, start her own business. She was able to have the energy and get her life back to live this most satisfying life. That frees up so much, like, we have more of a clear mind and a full heart to do the things we want where we're not thinking about food all the time.
Exactly. It's really sad to think about. I know it happened to me when I was doing Weight Watchers. I lost 60 pounds on Weight Watchers, but by the end, I really was. And this is what happens, right? Because we're smart and we can organize and plan and execute. And so my engineering brain is like pointing and analyzing. And now that we have a system, now my brain won't let it go. And this is the same for a lot of our clients. So we get rid of all of that thinking about food. Now there's a whole life, and peace of mind is a huge side effect of starting hypnosis for weight loss in my practice, at least. I bet it is in yours too.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. They're like, wow, what a long week, Erica. What a long week, really. Yeah, so many things happened. And from my perspective, it's just all the normal things that should be happening in the week when they're not so focused, scared, concerned, and worried about food all day long.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
What do you want your clients to know?
So what I would say to them is that I understand how it feels to, again, think about food all the time. I understand how it feels to be anxious and feel like you're out of control or maybe feeling that there's something wrong with you. And I'm here to share that there is nothing wrong with you. And if I'm able to make these changes myself, and so can when you don't have to go through this alone, that there are people out there that love you and that support you, and even people you haven't even met yet that will
Yeah.
help you and guide you through this journey. And that you deserve to live a satisfying life where you are living your best life and becoming the best version of yourself. And it is 100% possible.
I love that use the word satisfying because that really is, in my opinion, the exact right word for our weight loss clients. Because when they feel satisfied, and it's not satisfaction with food that they're looking for satisfaction with life. And when we can help them recognize and notice that and put the things in place to achieve that, making and keeping those small promises, now they're ending the day with fulfillment and satisfaction. And the food is naturally not entering in their mouth.
Yeah, and they're finding other ways to feel satisfied. For a lot of my people, they end up like creating something. So they end up getting into painting models with one of my current weight loss clients. He got into that, journaling,
Yep.
writing, like, so doing something creative to help fill in that time, help fill in that space. And then when we release all of the emotional pressure that's causing the issue, they now have more energy to be
Yep.
more active and to do the things that they want. Because again, they
Exactly.
my full heart.
That's beautiful. And what I noticed, and I have been telling my clients, is that when you feel like consuming, like you end up in the kitchen and maybe it's just a bad habit or whatever it is, see if you can flip that to creation because there really is something very powerful happening there. I think that the mind is really craving the creation, which is exactly what you just said, but we just are misaligned in that moment. And so we're thinking, oh, I'm just going to consume something, I'm going to eat something. And I think this is just a really good flip. So anytime I find myself in the kitchen, I realize I'm not hungry. Oh, you're craving some level of creation or complete nothing. I'll go sit on a rock in the sun outside. It's one of the two, though.
You know, I do
Ooh.
assign that as homework for some of my clients that are really busy to do just do nothing. Give yourself permission to unplug and just
Yeah.
be with yourself. And there's something that I talk about sometimes to some of my clients. It's not about just loving ourselves, but also liking ourselves too.
Hmm.
You know, and spending time with ourselves and being with ourselves and to know thyself.
Yeah. Beautiful. Doing nothing, I think, is amazing. I think it's very important to do absolutely nothing as long as possible as you can because, and I think like the alpha sequence is a no, I call it a no thing technique because it's not designed to ask you questions of yourself. There's a lot of great hypnosis out there. There's a lot of great hypnotic techniques that we could get into. There's a lot of great hypnotic language and scripts and things like that. But a lot of them are going to, in a sense, either ask you a question or guide you in a particular way to be self-reflective. And I just find that one of my favorite techniques is a no thing technique, like the alpha sequence, where the intention really isn't to ask you to think about your day or ask you to consider to release something, or it really is asking absolutely nothing of the mind whatsoever and giving you permission to merely just exist in that moment and feel peaceful, right?
I think it's so necessary, so important in a society where we measure our worth by how productive we are. And so that's really reframing that to I am worthy to just be. And it's
Right.
okay for me just to be.
And you can take it one step further for clients who really want to be productive. I think there's a really good truth here, and that is this is an investment. And if we can help our clients recognize you're not taking a break, maybe you are theoretically, but this is an investment. If you hopped in your car and drove it straight to California here from Seattle, like you're going to have to pull over at a rest stop, period. You can't make it all the way there. You, as a human, might need to actually sleep or take a break or something like that. And so, when the physical body truly is able to relax and get rid of stress, we might move into an alpha brainwave state, right? We are more effective, right? So we do think clearly. We do make better decisions. We avoid things like reply all and saying things that actually cause mistakes at 4 p.m. in the afternoon when maybe we should have been doing hypnosis instead of trying to grind.
And I love that. I love that analogy or that metaphor of being able to drive from Seattle to California and having and taking that pause and that it's still productive taking that pause and taking that time for yourself. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, so with hypnosis, we get to help them put some satisfaction in their day. Now their head is hitting the pillow and they're feeling happy once again. Yeah, very good. Cyndal, thank you so much for being here. What else would you like to share about hypnosis and how it's changed your life, or what you want anybody else to know about hypnosis?
Yeah, so I think it's important to know that hypnosis works when everything else has failed. But then you don't always have to have everything else fail. Sometimes hypnosis can be like one of the first resorts to go to because we're working below the conscious level thinking
Yeah.
where a lot of our issues come from within the subconscious mind. It's where all of our programs are installed in our
Mhm.
bio brain computer. And so hypnosis works below conscious level thinking, and hypnosis is also it feels, but it's not though, because it's the theta brainwave state, the
Yep.
alpha
It could be
brainwave
measured.
state. It can be
Mhm.
measured, it's backed by science, but it really works, and it's really amazing how quickly people can change their lives within just 1 to 5 weeks,
Yep.
month and a half. People can completely change their life. And what I would say, I know I said this a little bit earlier too, is that if you are someone who is struggling with really almost any issue with eating, drinking, smoking, self worth, anxiety, phobias, hypnosis can help and it can make a difference. I do think it is important, though, to also find a certified hypnotist that has adequate training.
Hmm.
Someone who has really good training, who's going to have the experience that you need to get the results that you're needing. I
Yeah.
think that's really important too.
Yeah. And how would they know that?
That's a really good question. So I think it's important to ask questions like, are
Hmm.
they certified with the guild? How
Yep.
long was their certification training for?
Mhm.
Who did they train with? And then like buyer beware of like really taking upon yourself to do some research,
Yeah.
also checking into the reviews and like how are they presenting themselves. But also too is like when you are meeting with your hypnotist, like during a consultation, like do you have that connection with them? Are you going to feel safe with them? I think that's also really important to trust our intuition and to trust our gut with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And asking questions and meeting your hypnotist are really excellent ways to go about doing that. So thank you, Cyndal.
Thank you, Erica, for having me on here. And thank you to anyone that spends time to listen to this. And I'm proud of you for showing up for yourself and doing the work. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Cyndal, so much for being here. And congratulations on all of your success and all of the people that you've helped in the last 5 years. It's just this work is fulfilling. It is lucrative and it's fulfilling. We get to help people with really hard things. We get to help them turn their light back on and be part of that whole process. So, thank you, everyone, for joining. And you can find me at CascadeHypnosisTraining.com. Cyndal, where can they find you at?
You can find me at bloominglotushypnosis.com. You can also find me on Facebook under the same name, Instagram. TikTok is going to be the Hypnotic Teacher, and YouTube is also the Hypnotic Teacher.
All right, very good. So please connect with Cyndal there. If you have questions about hypnosis training or you want to lose weight, be sure to check out Cyndal. You can grab her book wherever books are sold, probably, and we'll put a link around here too somewhere. Thank you, everyone. I'm Erika Flint, professional hypnotherapy instructor, board certified hypnotist, lover of humans, and you are more powerful than you realize. You really are. It's just what Cyndal was saying earlier. People can change their life in a few short weeks. Why is that? Is that because of hypnosis? No, it's because of you. It's because you are amazing. Hypnosis is just a tool. Hypnosis is just a method. It's a collection of ideas that we do in a certain order that tends to get awesome results for our clients in a very consistent way. We have a new guide, the ultimate guide to becoming a professional hypnotist. You can get that at CascadeHypnosisTraining.com/guide. I hope to see you in the hypnosis classroom soon. Until then, please feel free to use hypnosis techniques on yourself. Connect with Cyndal and me. We would love to help you live more freely, more happily with the power of hypnosis. Bye for now.